Besides processing individual tracks, Revoice also lets you perform multi-track processing, letting you create multiple processes in one step. While it's easy enough to create several processes based on the same guide track one at a time, it's a time saver to be able to make them all in one go. The only restriction in doing it as a single step is that they'll all use the same process settings. Although, of course, you could always go in later and make changes individually if necessary. Let's take a typical scenario where you might have a lead vocal and a couple of double tracks, or a lead vocal and several tight harmony tracks, and you wanted to tighten the timing of all the additional tracks to match up to the lead vocal's timing. To save the time it would take to process them one by one, you could utilize the Create Multiple Processes option in the New Process window to speed up the task. Let's go through it. I've transferred 3 vocal tracks into Revoice. They happen to be a lead vocal and 2 doubles, but they could also be a lead and several tight harmonies. For time alignment, it'd work the same way. I'll select Arrange and open the New Process window. I'll set an APT process based on the playback range with the Tight Timing Only preset. Now, you notice the tab near the bottom, Create Multiple Processes. This is where I'll set how many APT processes I want to create at once, and which tracks will be processed. I want to align both of the doubled tracks to the lead vocal. So once I've selected the lead vocal as the guide track, I'll choose the first of the doubles, vocal 2, for dub. But I want to create a process for the other double, vocal 3, at the same time, so I set number of processes to 2. Now, the rest of the settings depend on how I have the dub and output tracks arranged in the track list. In this case, I have all the original vocal tracks in a row, vertically, and 3 output tracks below them, also in a row. I want the rendered output from vocal 2 to go to output 2, and the rendered output of vocal 3 to go to output 3. To get this to work, I'll set dub track increment to 1. This increment setting tells Revoice to add the second process to the track just below the one selected for the dub, and place its rendered output 1 track below the one selected for output. Enabling the Fix Offset checkbox tells Revoice to use this routing. Then I hit New Process, or N, and both processes are created. You can see that there are now 2 processes for the guide track.
I want to see you. I want to be with you.
And I can select either one if I want to make any changes to one or the other. Now, depending on the musical parts and any other edits that might be done, it may make sense to have the tracks arranged a little differently, and if that's the case, then one of the settings will be a little different also. Let's say I have the same 3 vocal tracks, but this time I have an output track directly below each part in the track list, instead of all in a row at the bottom. With this track configuration, after I select the guide, dub, and output tracks, I'll again set the number of processes to 2, but now I'll also set the dub track increment to 2. This tells Revoice to skip a track when adding and placing the additional process outputs to match this track arrangement. Click Fix Offset, hit N, and it's done. Once again, 2 processes with their rendered outputs on the correct tracks.
I want to see you. I want to be with you.
Now I can just transfer the new audio back to the main DAW, and I'm all set. Next up, we'll take a look at Revoice's doubler process.